Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to another live episode of Going Rogue, our weekly Star Wars stream. I am Andrew Dimalanta.
And I'm Nicki Dimalanta.
And with us today, we have a very special guest. I'm surprised we got him on this show and not on our other show first.
Yeah.
But it is the Smasher, Kevin Smets, joining us for Star Wars. And
how's it going?
Yeah, so I haven't never ever actually sat down with you and talk Star Wars. I mean, obviously, our conversations offline on Twitter have been about Schmodown, obviously,
Schmodown, yeah.
One of the biggest personalities in the Schmodown right now, current Inner Geekdom champion. I'm still trying to make my name, but things might change. You
gotta listen. You got a big match coming up. I can relate in a certain way because after it was unspoken, but it was spoken. Basically, it was after Collision, like when I was in San Diego, I knew I was going out for blood against Hlavik, but I would never say it out loud, and Kaiser wouldn't either. But we were like, it's not do or die, because I don't think it's do or die for you, but it was definitely like.
I mean, it is kind of sort of for me, because they've said it before. If I lose this next one, it's like, well, we're not going to see him for a very long time, because
we'll see.
I've always said records really don't matter in Star Wars, but this isn't a Schmodown show. This is a Star Wars show where we celebrate Schmodown. Really quick before we get into the topics, I know you have a limit. We have you for a limited time, and I don't know if we made this. I think we finally made a decision. We were thinking about making the show pre-taped instead of live, because just looking at the numbers, looking at our schedules and stuff like that, it just doesn't do best as a live stream anymore, I don't think. But we have you today, and then we have John Rocco next week. And I think next week will be our last live show, and then from that point on, we'll go from pre-taped shows. We'll see what happens. And I'm looking for a shorter show, and obviously for other reasons. But before we get into all the stuff that we want to get into, I just want to know what your story with Star Wars is. What's your experience? How'd you get into it? What kept you with the franchise for so long, and what nurtured your love for it?
Yeah, my first earliest memory of any movie theater was the shot where Luke does a backflip in Return of the Jedi and lands on the overhanging thing, and he's like, "Your thoughts betray you, Father." I, for some reason, remember that imagery in the theater, and so as a kid I watched the hell out of that Star Wars VHS tape. My dad actually had a Laserdisc player.
Wow, that's wow.
So yeah, the Return of the Jedi Laserdisc was pretty awesome, and I would watch that over and over. And then I kind of fell out of it. I fell out of it for several years. I just got a little older. I was in high school around 97. It was my junior year, senior year. Old, so just dating myself there. And I went to see Independence Day in the theater opening weekend at the Irvine Spectrum. And it was one of only, I think, 5 theaters that did a test rollout of that special edition trailer where it was the TV, and it was for over a generation.
That. Yeah.
And then
the X-Wing flies out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had that special edition. It was kind of before the internet, or at least enough where I just wasn't on the radar. And then that was when they then had they did a re-release of the soundtrack. And the music really was always what pulled me in. I just forgot how much I loved Yoda's theme as a kid. And when I had that soundtrack, and then I had Star Wars chess on the PC where you could have Yoda.
I did too.
And then from then on, it was nonstop. And it's funny because, I remember and then the prequels were coming out. And as a kid, I was a child actor, and I had a stand-in for me, which was a small person, which would always stand in for you or whatever. And he was an Ewok. And I remember back in the day, he told me when we were on set between takes that they're gonna do a Star Wars. It's gonna be about Vader when he was younger, and you're gonna see the whole volcanic battle and stuff like that. And I just remember as a kid blown away. But yeah, I largely forgot about it for a while, and then the special edition trailer reeled me back in, and then after that, and then what sustained it now was just doing those KOTOR movies, and the Machinima movies and stuff like that. That really, and we actually did an homage trailer with the TV.
That's awesome.
And the thing when we played at a film festival, we were like, you only played KOTOR on the small screen this summer. See it in a whole new way.
That's awesome.
That's my experience with it. Yeah,
that's cool, man. So obviously, usually what we did on the show, we do a review of Clone Wars season 7, but Clone Wars is over. I wanted to start watching the whole Mandalorian gallery, I think it's called, the documentary series that they're doing.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up on that just yet because I'm busy doing other things.
I wonder
So
what.
great.
I
I
wonder
have
what
a
I'm
friend
busy
that
with.
works on it. She does all the EPKs, electronic press kits, and then the behind the scenes stuff. She did a lot for like the Marvel movies. So she would, it's my friend's sister actually, and she would be like, "Oh, I visited the set of Endgame," and I'd be like, "Oh, yeah." But she actually worked on that, and I texted her for like just saying how great it is. So I won't say anything, but Dave Filoni in that newest episode is just amazing.
Yeah, I've only watched like snippets of it on the internet and just little things that people are saying, and I'm like, I want to, especially for somebody that's aspiring filmmaker, I want to hear what everybody, and like from what I hear, Filoni is just like why he needs to be in charge of everything Star Wars right now, because
he has Bryce Dallas Howard's mouth like agape, like when he. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that one clip that was on Twitter about Duel of the Fates and stuff like that. But
that's the one I've seen.
He has everybody blown away, and it doesn't stop there. Like it's so good.
I'm so excited, but I'm gonna try to catch up on it for next week's stream. But obviously I have other things I have on my mind that I'm watching. Again, I'm only watching Star Wars movies and kid shows. That's all I'm watching. Muppet Babies and Puppy Dog Pals. That's all it is right now.
Someone told me with my upcoming arrival that I'm going to be an expert at Disney films and family films for the next couple of years.
Yeah, we went on a Disney binge at one point. I watched all the animated things with her, and like,
we know a lot about Moana.
Oh yeah, a lot of Moana. But yeah, so but I think something that is sort of related to The Mandalorian, a lot of casting news has been coming out, like just left and right. And part of me is kind of like, stop.
Yes.
Stop with all this leaking. Like, if I was in Lucasfilm, I'm like, who is leaking all this stuff? Because you are fired.
Yeah.
Because how do they not have a meme of Oprah yet saying, you get a part, you get a part?
Yeah,
it seems like there's 50,000 roles coming up in season 2.
And I'm like, and half of me is like, oh man, this is great. I want any news bits I want. But for me, it's like, if I were to see like Tamora Morrison show up in the show while I'm watching, I'm like, I would lose my mind. Yeah. And I think that's something they wanted to keep like under wraps for the longest time. It just seems like everything's coming. I think it's this Corona business that's like,
they have nothing. We have nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do. Yeah. So we got But what are your thoughts on what do you think is the biggest like name that they've gotten? What are you most excited for with all the news? Because it's been like Tamora Morrison coming back as either Boba Fett or Rex. Rex doesn't make all that sense because Rex would be really old at this point. Who else was there?
There was that one guy, I can't think of his name.
Oh yeah,
there was one guy that was like supposedly confirmed that he's going to be the one in Boba's armor.
Yeah, from
that's Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, at first it's like,
if you've seen Deadwood, like this is the one I'm most excited about because I loved Deadwood, the show on HBO.
Yeah,
and he plays a sheriff on that, and or at first just a lawman or an outside or a retired lawman, and he gets pulled into it, but. Like, I think people are thinking he's not going to be wearing the helmet. Like, I bet it's just the armor. Like, because I bet that helmet Boba Fett probably has still. So,
well, here's the thing, because, like, the character that he's rumored to be playing, and again, none of this is confirmed by Lucasfilm. I'm skeptical to, like, jump on board with all this stuff, because, like, Lucasfilm is neither denied nor officially say that this is what's happening. So it's like I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt right until like we're at Celebration. Like, yep, here's your new cast for season 2, and like So, but but I think how deep are you in or at all? Have you read any of the new canon books at all, or are you up to date on those at all?
Listen. I would love to say that I've read the canon books. Like Lost Stars was one of my favorite books of all time. And I love Plagueis, and so I was really excited about all like the new novels. And then I joined the Schmodown, and then me, like when I get to watch anything, when I get to watch a 22-minute episode of Schitt's Creek that I don't have to study or memorize, I get so excited about it. But I've really fallen off of everything that has nothing to do with Inner Geekdom in the last 18 months. So I haven't really caught up on those books yet, but I know I'm familiar with Aftermath, kind of.
I think that's where this character shows. I believe it's in the second novel. I can't remember.
Does he have the helmet or just the armor?
He has the entire getup. He has the helmet. Whoa. Yeah, because he finds it in this one like. The Jawas are like, how Jawas they scavenge and they get all the things. Like, oh, this is cool, and he ends up like shooting a guy over it or something. I haven't gone back and
is he a good dude or is he just
he's like a law guy. He's like because like the Jabba the Hutt is dead. He's basically they're taking law back on Tatooine, so they're taking over, and like so I'm the sheriff. I can't remember. If it has nothing to do immediately with the movies right now, I'm sort of like ejecting it from my brain.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't affect the movie, it's like no, just get that out of my head for right now because I don't need it. But from my understanding is that he becomes the sheriff of this one town, and he has Boba Fett's armor. So that's the extent. It's a very cool like side.
I mean, I'm already sold when I hear that, and especially if you've seen Deadwood. Like, he is a really good actor, and he can play he can go from where you're rooting for him to where you're like, dude, this guy's like intense, like instantly. And so, I mean, if he's, I mean, I'm a can. You've said it in your show before. You're a canon junkie. I am too. So if they're tying things from the book into this,
and this is one thing that I think Filoni is doing really well. He's especially with the stuff that he's worked on. He's tying in things to his show. That's like that's what we were promised. We were promised from when Disney bought Lucasfilms, like everything's gonna count now, and we've sort of seen that. But the books, it's really the books they tie in really well together because there are characters that'll jump from book to book to book and like they'll reference their story that they had in the other book. The shows,
except the novelizations of the movies.
Yeah, the novelizations are loosely tied in, but like and the TV shows do it a little bit well. But the movies, for some reason, are afraid to do this, and it's one of the biggest frustrating things that I was like Solo does it the best, sort of. Rogue One does.
I love Solo.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Solo fan.
Solo's a fun movie. I don't get the hate for it. I'm still in the.
Ken Nash talk about it for hours and hours about Solo.
I mean, it's a great film. I think it was just it came at a point where we really didn't. I wasn't really clamoring for a Solo film. Like I don't like everything that I need to know about Han is from the saga films. Like, but like I have my own problems with it. But like it's a fun film. I haven't seen a movie or anything for that matter come out of Lucasfilm since they bought it that I haven't liked. I've enjoyed pretty much everything. And like you might call me a Disney shill for that. I don't get paid for Disney. I'm not that big.
If only.
If only. But yeah. So again, guys, if you want to get questions for Kevin or for us or what are your thoughts on this, go hit us up on Streamlabs. I'm so pissed with me I can't change this. It's streamlabs.com/videos by Andrew 1. I hate that URL. I'm pretty sure that's we're not going to be using that from if we don't do live streams anymore. But you can send your Streamlabs there. Let us know what you thought of these castings in the comments. What are because this is the one rare things that you actually can comment on now.
Yeah,
is Mandalorian because you said that like, hey, don't watch this without me, like because like
no, it's such a fun show and it feels so different from anything else that we've been given in the Star Wars universe. It's that westerny feel.
Don't tell John Roca that.
I mean, it is though. It is though.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's got that gunslingery feel, and but it still has the flavor of like, oh, we're in space. What planet? Because it feels like Tatooine. Do we know what planet they're on?
On where?
Mandalorian.
He goes to several different planets. He does go to Tatooine at one point.
What's that first planet they're always on? They always go back to.
Oh my God, it's Navarro.
I don't think.
No, yeah.
I believe it's Navarro.
Like Hector Navarro.
Yeah, I believe it's Navarro. Somebody in chat will correct me if I'm wrong.
But yeah, I mean, it's got like a bit of a grittier feel. It's maybe it could be a little bit darker. I don't know. We were just talking about how many decapitations there are in Star Wars.
Yeah, there's so many decapitations in Star Wars.
But it still feels a little bit darker and grittier. But it still feels like Star Wars. I'm excited about. I honestly think that we need to rewatch the season 1 again before season 2 comes out.
Yes,
but
I would
think we got
definitely
plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you, because for our patrons, the $5 tier, we got the audio commentaries. I'd watch along with Clone Wars season 7 and give you my thoughts on it as we watch along together. I think I'm going to start doing that with Mandalorian as we get closer to the release date.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you can join the Patreon, patreon.com/Andrew and Nicki. I'm going to plug all of our crap as we go along. But I'm gonna go to you first because as a casual fan who doesn't know a whole lot about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Do you want to see Boba Fett in the series?
I mean, it would be cool. I don't need to because I mean this show feels more. It feels much more standalone than anything else we've gotten because, I mean, all the characters are more or less original.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't really. I mean, we're going to be seeing the Ahsokas and the Bobas and the Mandalorian too, but all the characters we've seen thus far are original. Am I wrong? So, thank you.
We just got a Streamlabs. Speaking of Streamlabs, we'll get to that in a second.
I think it's kind of fun to have brand new things to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to be like, oh, fan service, whatever. They're just, pandering. It's whatever. I'll be excited to see him. I don't need to, because it's kind of fun to have original stuff too. But it's cool. I'm down, but I'm not like salivating for it.
Yeah, because Temuera Morrison is not confirmed yet, but he's heavily rumored to reprise his role as somebody in Mandalorian. What do you think, Kevin? Like, because I don't think it's Rex. Rex would be what, like?
Yeah,
he'd be like 80 years old, which would be what, like 160 in clone years.
Yeah, it would be interesting. So, but. I think it's Boba Fett, because I think the Hollywood Reporter or whatever, it said as Boba Fett.
Boba Fett, yeah.
But they could be, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I'd love it to be Rex. If Filoni's involved, Filoni, Frank, when he would stay with me, he would call it the Filoni flex, which I was like, is that a thing? You should make that a hashtag. Like when, because we love the Clone Wars last 4 episodes. We watched it together.
Love it.
But
So good.
When Ahsoka's pulling the ship back, sky or whatever. That's a Filoni flex, because that's seeing it now. If you're gonna watch it in order, canon order, when Rey finally does it for the first time, it's like, no, we saw Ahsoka do it, so he's like, oh, that's a Filoni flex. So, as a Filoni flex, would Rex potentially, would he throw in Rex and just get that old white beard? Because I want to make sure that guy in Return of the Jedi still is Rex.
Yeah.
So he's got to be that. He's got to still be Rex.
He's got to be old,
really old,
because remember, clones age twice as fast, so it's like,
oh, they do, huh?
Yeah. So it's like, he'd be like,
or maybe they could retcon it and be like, they age twice as fast, but then when you're older, it's like
it
not
slows
Benjamin
down.
Button where you reverse age, but it slows down. So then you're 80.
I can see them do that.
Like you're 70 for the next 200 years.
Yeah, and
there it is.
Cool.
Dave Filoni.
And for him to be Boba, I think Temuera Morrison's what, close to 60 now. I think they discuss this on SEN, where his age is he's like 59.
I mean, it would still be pretty sick.
Well, look, Harrison Ford was in his mid 60s, and he pulled off.
That's true too. And you can do
yeah.
makeup, you can de-age him if you use Boba.
Unforgiven. You'd be Unforgiven with Boba Fett, dude. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I remember I had an idea when they first bought Disney. I'm like, oh, I want them to do a spin-off film where it's Obi-Wan. It's an Obi-Wan movie, but it's like Unforgiven, and he's on one last mission with Mace. This is before Mace revealed himself to be a real asshole. Sorry.
Oh no, I have the same mindset. Yeah.
But Mace with one arm and old and grizzled, and it would be like a Unforgiven movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe you just have an old and grizzled Boba Fett. But yeah, I think with the other clone with Rex, he's really pushing. But then, how much older was Rex than Ahsoka? And Ahsoka is going to be in it too. Are they going to age up Ahsoka? So it's
because they
or do they age differently? Race.
Yeah, the race probably ages differently. So we just got in another Streamlabs.
So let's get to the first one first.
Before.
Ferris Muthana, what a bro.
What's up, Sword
Thank
Commander?
you.
Hey,
Ferris says, hey, Ferris. I kind of enjoy that if you're going to get a gunslinger, you get Tim Oliphant. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah.
He's going to be pretty sick in that role.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm not as familiar with his parts, because I remember, was he in that the one of the what is it, Die Hard movies? Was he the villain from one of the Die Hard movies?
Yeah, he was the villain in I forget if it's the he was the villain in the Die Hard
fourth one. Was it the fourth one?
Yeah, the fourth one. I forget.
Yeah. That Live Free Die Hard.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Live Free and Die Hard.
Hey,
so he could play
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I mean, it's not, you compare it to the other Die Hards, it's not like...
Watch Deadwood, though, my friend. If you haven't seen Deadwood, watch the first season of Deadwood, and you will be so excited about him.
Yeah.
Because it's playing... He literally sounds like the same character, so
that's awesome.
He's made for
awesome. So we had another Streamlabs
from Suge. Our boy
Knight. What's up, man?
Knight, another bro.
Hey, Suge.
Hey, Sugar. Thank you.
My child might be born near your birthday, by the way.
Nice.
September 25th is our due date, so
nice.
I think that's close to Suge's
birthday. And congratulations again to Papa Smets
Papa Daddy
over here.
Smash.
Nice. Papa Daddy Smash.
A little smashlet coming out.
I'm gonna get a bumper sticker with that.
So Suge says, I got no question. I just want to come say hi to the champ, the smasher, My pick for a Star Wars tournament, Andrew, and my favorite person, Nikki. Oh,
Nice.
That's why she's on the show.
I appreciate all of you. All of you are awesome. Great show.
Excellent. Thank you.
The
And again,
best.
guys, if you want to get your Streamlabs in,
Thanks, man.
streamlabs.com/videos by Andrew 1. Hate that URL.
Yes. And yeah, Suge's birthday, September 23rd.
Ooh.
Mark that down in your calendar.
Since we're talking about parenthood and then on a Star Wars show, I've talked to Christian about this because he said he got his daughter really into Star Wars. And when I met him for the first time in person, well, no, I met him in Orlando briefly, but when I actually was able to sit down and talk to him, I asked him, like, how did you get your daughter into Star Wars? I need to know this. And he immediately turns to her, he's like, do you like it? And he's like, and you're like, yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, it's like, and then you're golden. So are you hoping for the same thing with Star Wars with your daughter?
Well, I'm excited. The mother hasn't seen any of them, so
oh,
I'm excited.
Oh no!
I think I'm gonna do the machete. They call the machete version.
order. That doesn't, that doesn't work that well anymore. And I think the standalones really screw that up because like before without them, it's like. Well,
I've always been just watch them from the beginning, from the get go, like because I like Phantom Menace. So
yeah,
I mean, I look, I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I like them all. To be honest, so Attack of the Clones, not so much,
that one's iffy.
You just got.
I just watched that one. It was a rough watch.
But you know, kids love it, and the last 40 minutes are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, do I hope? Yeah, but like I think Christian's right. Like, because my niece, like I know anything I like she's like, oh, that's cool. I like it too. So like, I'm just tell my daughter, you know, she has to watch it, or I'm gonna put her up for adoption. So.
There you go. Problem solved.
So, you know. so Intergeekdom champion, you have to know, you have to be pretty much, if you're gonna be like a competitor in the Showdown for Star Wars especially, or an Intergeekdom, you have to be at least a fan of all these properties. So you know, like Harry Potter, Star Trek, MCU,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Which one do you show your daughter first? Do you do Star Wars? Do you go Harry Potter? Because I know Harry Potter might appeal to children more.
Well, it's tough because like Harry Potter I think Harry Potter's a good entry one because like it's like little kids going through the thing, but like you still gotta wait, you gotta be patient because these movies, like I know with my niece, like you could say one little thing and they'll hang on to it. My niece now is like 11 years old, but like when she was 4, I made a joke. So she had asked where what happened to Nicole, which was an ex-girlfriend, and we were all joking and I made a joke. I think she was 5. And I said, she fell out of a helicopter into a pool of sharks.
Oh,
right?
No.
And then I'm laughing and joking. My sister is like, Kevin, like, I'm going to get you back for this. And of course, to this day, she's, you know, now she knows it wasn't a pool of sharks, but like, she'll still make the joke. So I just fear that you're watching Harry Potter, the first one, and everything's light and cheery and stuff. And then there's the 3-headed dog. And then every time I walk with my daughter in the park, a 3-headed dog is going to like, or not a 3-headed dog. Hopefully we don't run into those, but there'll be a dog. It's terrifying. So I think that, man, I don't know. The easiest ones, you got to go. Because, like I said, you could have a movie that's just great for kids, but there's that scary section in it that, like, as you.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
I don't know. What about you? What's your plan? You guys have a 2-year head start. Give me some help.
Well, she's already watched every Star Wars film about 800 times.
I mean, she's got a head up on it. My goal, I think my strategy is to show her Force Awakens first because, you know, it's the most recent and the female protagonist.
The girl power thing.
When we say it all the time on the show. Her middle name is Rey, so I think that might help it out. But it's like, hey, that's the person we gave your middle name after. Yeah. So I think that's the goal. But
that's great. I was thinking Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
So, yeah.
We do Ghost Rider and Constantine for the first 2, and then she's ready to go, and then maybe we'll just jump ahead and we'll do Half-Blood Prince. Make sure Dumbledore dies on camera for her.
Spoilers. I haven't seen all the Harry Potters yet, so yeah.
Oh man.
We got another Streamlabs in, so let's go ahead and read that before we get into the main topic.
Ferris Muthana again.
Ferris, my dog, man.
And the message just says, just because I love this show.
Thank you, Ferris.
Oh.
Thank you, Squadron
Thank
Commander.
you.
So, again, we only have you for a brief time. And again, this show will be shorter.
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry about that.
No,
we were like, oh yeah, I can do it, and then
we were gonna make these shows shorter anyways because I think the 45-minute range is where I want to aim for these new shows. This is a sweet spot. But so the main topic of tonight is basically Jedi training, and you know, obviously, with you training for IG, with me training for Star Wars, it seemed right to have you on for this topic because really this topic stemmed from a conversation I had with you about a tweet that you saw.
Which I have pulled up right here for reference. So one day I saw a tweet from some guy. I don't know what his name is. I blacked it out because I'm not one to just call people out like, a D-bag. Maybe a little. I don't know. But the original tweet that I saw says, okay, wait. Is Rey deflecting laser bolts with her hand? For 40 years of movies, Jedi used a lightsaber for that. Other than Vader absorbing Solo's bolts in Empire. Well, it's settled. Rey is a true Grandmaster Jedi with a face-slapping emoji. And it spawned me saying to Andrew, like, how come it's okay? Or how come Rey, deflects or absorbs a lightsaber? Yeah, she breathes. She does anything. She exists. And everyone's like, what a Mary Sue,
Yeah.
And yet, I must have just watched Phantom Menace before I saw this tweet. So I was like, so it's not okay for her to do that, but it's okay for a 9-year-old boy to build a protocol droid, build a pod racer, fully functional, and fix it mid-race while Bulb was trying to kill him.
Or how like the Last Jedi haters where they're like, Luke never leaves the island and he doesn't help. Oh, but it was okay when Yoda stayed in Dagobah and he never left. He didn't leave Dagobah to go fight the Emperor. Like, relax, people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, like, it spawned this conversation is like, really, how much training does one need to be proficient with the Force?
And do people need more training than others?
Yeah.
Depending on their midichlorian count?
And I don't know what your thoughts are on Rise of Skywalker are, Kevin. Because I said I love the Rise of Skywalker. Every time I see it, I like it even more.
I gotta send you a clip, by the way, of a work in progress of someone's making of a fan edit, and it is someone did CGI perfectly, and they did that last scene of like I am all the Jedi, but like
yes, we saw that. You've
seen it?
I don't know if we saw exactly the one.
Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan, and then there's a side shot of all of them doing that. You saw that?
I saw something like that.
I don't know if it's the exact one you're talking about, but we saw something like it. But send it anyway because it was amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I don't even use public, so I'll DM it to you.
Yeah, we something similar to that, but just seeing small things like that like gave me goosebumps. Like, oh, why didn't they do this? But anyways,
it's a great concept.
But back to the main topic. The main topic is basically like, so do you actually need training to be strong as a Jedi? And I've always been, it's like my understanding of watching all the films and like just doing anything, it's the being able to use the Force isn't something like, hey, do 5 push-ups or do 100 push-ups, get stronger with the Force.
Like muscle memory.
Yeah. My understanding was that it's not a physical thing, it's just understanding it. Understanding how to tap into it, understanding how to let it control you, understanding how to manipulate it. That was always my thing. I'm interested to hear your take on that, like, because it's not like something like with us. It's like, oh, let's watch the movie for like 50 times and get stronger, and that like it's just more.
You've heard of the term like, oh, he's a natural athlete. Like, I coach. Like, I took a lot of my training into with Schmodown into how I coached marathon teams and iron teams. Mm-hmm. And there'd be natural athletes on there where they just get on a bike and they just blow everyone away, and you're like, that's insane. Or for me, because I had wide shoulder, I still do kind of wide shoulders. I was so fast out of the water, like I would beat everybody on my team in the water, but I sucked on the bike. Mm-hmm. So then so I got to see all my teammates because I beat them in the water, but then out of the water on the bike, they'd all pass me and call me, hey, good job, fish. And then they're destroying me on the bike because I hated the bike. I hated riding a bike for 112 miles. But what I'm trying to say is, some people were just born athletes, and it was just, and I'm not saying that they came out of the womb that way, but just their bodies are more built for that. They have he has a swimmer's build, or like LeBron James, let's be honest, like I can practice every day for 200 years and not be as good as LeBron James if he didn't practice for a couple months, because he has his height, but he has a natural skill too. So I think it comes easier to others.
Yeah.
With Rey, I was convinced so as a KOTOR fan myself, and you guys are familiar with KOTOR, right?
Yeah.
The games.
So it's been a long time, but yeah.
But the big twist, right? And it's you guys, it's fine to spoil it, but like the big twist is that your character was the Dark Lord Revan all along, memory wiped. And so because Rey was so proficient in the Force Awakens, I was convinced that her Force vision, when Kylo comes up and like reaches out, and of course it didn't match, but that first night I saw it, I was like, because you know how they're saying, oh, we're going to take stuff from Legends and make it our own. Like K2SO is kind of like HK47. There's star maps in it. And I was like, oh my God, they're going Revan with Rey. And Rey's going to find out in the second movie that she was actually Kylo Ren who destroyed all the villagers and killed everybody. Like, and that's why she was like, well, why am I remembering everything? Because in the game at 2, you're all of a sudden, you're this badass Jedi and you don't understand why. And then you realize, oh, because your mind was wiped. You were a badass Jedi. And then you turned bad. We wiped your memory slate. So I was convinced, because Rey was so strong, like that she, you know, and the ages don't matter now or don't match now, but I was convinced that, oh my God, Rey is actually that Kylo that's reaching out in the Force vision, and this little girl is just a manipulation. And you'll find out in the second movie that she had her mind wiped. And whatever, it's now fan fiction. But, could you imagine if you borrowed that Revan technique? So, but she was strong, and I think it's fine, because like if now in canon she's a Palpatine, like he's one of the most powerful Force users ever, and like why do you think, like, you know, rest in peace both of them, but Kobe's daughter was such a good athlete? It's not just because Kobe was trained there, like you passed that crap down, like the athleticism and stuff, and I think if you're trying to get it into a nuts and bolts. And that goes with what you're saying too, Andrew, is that they have an understanding of it better. Yeah. It just comes more naturally to them. They can just see a basketball court different than anyone else. Yeah. Or, as you say, the Force.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on that? Because I know you had a little bit to say about it, though.
I was mostly just ranting.
Because you would argue that Rey is your favorite character in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, she's probably my favorite Force user, because after, you know, going back and watching the original trilogy again, I was like, oh man, I've really been sleeping on Han, even though how could you? It's Han. But anyway, but yeah, no, I love Rey, and I'm sure there are parts of it that it's like, wow, how's she able to do that? How'd she do that so quick? But it's like, listen, let's think realistically. It's a movie. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes. What are you, 2.5 hours? If you literally did every single, like, ounce of training to justify the power that she has, we'd be here for 20 movies.
Oh, it's just like what you learn in film school. Like the car drops you off outside the building and they're talking. You don't wait for them to go in the lobby, press the elevator. You cut to them upstairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking.
Exactly. Yeah. And we see her training.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
It could be anything. Like Garth said in the chat, like it could be art and music. It's actually very true. Like, so for me, I'm an editor. And it's very easy for anyone to learn some of the editing software. Some of them are more difficult than others, but it's very easy for anyone to learn the editing software. Oh, yeah. But the reason why, you know, it is very hard to get editing work is you do have to have that eye too. And just because someone learns Avid and knows Avid doesn't necessarily mean, well, that will translate into them being able to do a docuseries or have that timing for a music video and stuff like that. So I think that Rey, I think it's okay for Rey to be a badass.
Yeah. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, and to talk to your point more of like natural abilities and certain, because like we've seen, if you read all canon and you've learned this understanding of like not everybody is good at one thing. You have this like the skill set that all Jedi usually are known to do, like the Force pushing and the mind reading and all that. But then other people are good at communicating with animals. Other people are great at feeling people and sensing things. Because like Leia, up until Rise of Skywalker, was really in tune with people. Yeah, she senses people, and she has a deep. She understood her child was a boy even before it started developing. So she had really deep connection with people. Yoda was in tune with other things. Ezra Bridger was really in tune with animals and things like that. So that's to that point. It's like you might be strong in one set, but then you're weaker in other things, if you can say that. But like my understanding was that like because of Luke trained with Yoda for what, all of maybe a week.
Yeah, I wonder what the timeline is.
Yeah, and I've heard that the Dagobah timeline is kind of like warped a bit, I guess. And like it stretches out. I've heard
still it wasn't years and years in a temple, like
and he went into Dagobah it took him. It was really hard for him to get the lightsaber in the cave. Yeah. But after Yoda, he was like, oh, here's my lightsaber, and he was fighting Vader right after that. So
my question here, not because I'm trying to be devil's advocate or whatever, I'm just genuinely curious. So I do agree with Kevin and both of you actually about how, you know, some people just have natural abilities and maybe they just need to be fine-tuned or honed or whatever. So why do you I mean, because when Luke was training on Dagobah, it did almost seem like a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was doing handstands, you know, and he was running around with Yoda on his back.
I was hoping somebody would bring that up because I think that is more of a distraction,
a focus type thing.
Because again, it said his biggest weakness was control and focusing on the moment.
That's great.
So what do you do to make your student focus more? Throw every distraction at you can. Make him do a handstand. Do
Make them lift up rock while they do a handstand.
Yeah, exactly. So it's forcing him to focus on the moment while being distracted with the handstand. So it's just stress. So like.
So the same thing as, you know, when we see Rey running the training course in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Same thing.
And remember their lineage too. Like if you're Coleman Trevor, you're not going out doing flips on Dagobah and learning the Force so fast. And by the way, he was my favorite Jedi for like 25 minutes. When I first saw that movie in the theater, he walked by in the background. And I was like, dude, that guy's awesome. He looks like a freaking dinosaur. That's going to be my new action figure.
And then he gets shot by Jango.
Out like a punk. And so when I did the in memoriams for Ken Knapsack on his Force Center channel, we do these in memoriams that are like these slow, like it's like 2.5 minutes, but it's like Akbar was 52 years old when he died, or whatever. It's funny. But we did, when he was like, we got to do Coleman Trevor. I was so excited. And we make it's ridiculous, but Coleman Trevor is not going to be deflecting blaster bolts. But if you have the daughter of, or the granddaughter of Palpatine, then whether you like that storyline twist or not, like she has it in her, dude. She has it in her.
And Luke says as much as like he's seen this raw talent in two people before, Ben Solo and her. Yeah. So it's like in that small line, it's like, okay, most of her power comes from her raw talent and raw connection with the Force.
Yeah.
So,
my mom is in chat, by the way. She says, "Great show, Andrew and Nikki. The Force is with you."
Oh, thank you.
I always send her links because I haven't been able to see her since Christmas because of COVID. So I was like, "Hey, you can see me talk Star Wars a little
Mama
bit."
Smasher,
Grandmama
Smasher,
soon to be
Grandmama Smasher. Congratulations.
Grandmama Smasher, Grandma.
Yeah. So I don't read that. That's the Patreon. So
Patreon.
I think we've I don't want to keep you anymore because I think we're gonna be running a little bit longer than we wanted to with you. But
that's okay.
But if you for our patrons, the patrons at the $20 tier are we call our patrons a squadron. And squadron commanders at the $20 tier get to dictate the conversation on our weekly show. And this one is from, I believe, it's from Ferris Muthana.
I want to say Ferris Muthana.
Yeah, squadron commander.
So Ferris says, Yoda's been deemed the greatest teacher in Jedi history, but yet he trained Count Dooku and also had a hand in training Qui-Gon, who found Anakin. So in a weird way, Yoda had a major influence on the people who were a part of the fall of the Jedi Order. So what changes to the Jedi training could have been made to prevent this?
Ooh.
Wowie, going deep there.
So
let them go free their mother first of all.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
in 10 years they just say, hey, let's go back to Tatooine, use some Jedi funds. We'll put her up in a condominium in Coruscant down Main Street. Like, yikes.
I think the downfall of the Jedi, and you see this across all of canon, was they're attached to like procedures, and like their like attachment is such a taboo thing for the Jedi. And I think what Qui-Gon was onto was that no, don't shun these attachments. We should be embracing these attachments and like making sure that like it's like, yeah, sure, being afraid to lose these attachments will lead to the dark side, but you need to able to look at these attachments as strengths as well. And I think Filoni touched on this in the
Duel of Fates.
The Duel of Fates thing. He's like, Qui-Gon was supposed to, if Qui-Gon lives, he'll be able to teach Anakin to take these attachments and turn it around to where you're not fearing losing them, and he has that father figure to help him understand how to deal with these attachments that he has. So I think that's the ultimate fall of the Jedi.
Because Anakin's attachment to Padme was such an insecure attachment. So if he had been trained better, maybe it could have gone a better way.
I think being able to look at people like coming into your life and as a Jedi, and like being able to understand how to, what am I trying to say, to properly be attached to people and not being like, all right, no, we can't have attachments because it leads to the dark side. It's like, no, we will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I think that was the ultimate fall. It's like they weren't able to get out of their own butts and loosen up.
Exactly.
That's really what it was.
It was all rulebook.
What do you guys think?
Well, if you ever read the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, which I love, by the way, It is so. Have you read it? The novelization?
No, I haven't.
His chapters are first person, so like it is like you read it like you're Anakin, and it is. I'm telling you, you can do it on Audible too. It is so good. It describes what his brain is tricking him to thinking after he kills the younglings, and he's just like look at that guilt and hold it in your hand and observe it, but then learn that it's observe it and cherish it because that is yours. Like, and then he speaks. I'm telling you right now, to anybody who loves Star Wars, the Revenge of the Sith novelization is so good. But they talk about how they make it a little more clear that he was desperate for Yoda to give him the right answer. He didn't want to go look into dark Sith teachings about everlasting life and to save Padme. He thought, Yoda's the greatest. Like, they go into his brain because it's like, Yoda's the greatest of all Jedi. He's going to know. I don't need to deal with these dark scenes. And so when he goes into that library or whatever, that scene in the quarters, what I love about that in the movie now is made better by the novel is he's desperate for Yoda to say, oh, I know a way. Yeah, don't worry. And when he doesn't give it to him, and you see how disappointed, he's crushed. He's literally like,
this is the last leg.
If he doesn't have the answer, then I have no choice. And that's again, if they were a little more compassionate, they got out of their asses a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a different galaxy.
Yeah.
And can I point out that Yoda was pretty legit? That was pretty good.
Thank you. I always think it sounds too much like Ray Romano, but
So do you
wait, no.
do you have anything you want to add on about Farfetch's comment?
No, I think I'm good. I don't want to. I don't want to drag anything on too long.
Yeah,
I think we
I think we're gonna with that. Thank you, Ferris Milan, for that topic and your continued support. I think we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here because again, we have to get stuff to get back to. You have stuff to get back to. So where can they find you online, Kevin?
Find me on @KevSmets at Twitter, and then I always accidentally give out my email address. So I'm like, hold on, let me just make sure I don't give my email address out. I've literally done that. And then if you search us out, Revan the series, and I think RevanTrilogy.com. It links to our KOTOR channel, or just type KOTOR Movie Saga. You'll find us on Facebook and YouTube. We can talk about that another time. But that's the KOTOR movies and the Revan series that we're doing using the original KOTOR engine. It's going to be quite the thing. A lot of the lore, a lot of people who love the old school lore of the Knights of the Old Republic. We're expanding on everything that they mentioned in the game but never see, and now we're doing prequels where we're going to show the height of the Mandalorian Wars. They talk about it in the Mandalorian about we once had a problem with you Force wielders or whatever. We're with Force wielders, and of course they even mentioned it in the Clone Wars thing. So you're going to see all of that with the Mandalorians versus the Jedi. So it's going to be great. And that if you just search KOTOR Movie Saga or Revan Trilogy, I believe you'll find it. You can just find Revan the series. It's all over YouTube, or you can just follow me on Twitter. I usually tweet about it too when we have new updates. So it's exciting stuff.
Excellent. Nicki Dimalanta, where can they find you really quick?
Twitter, Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
And for me, at Twitter and Twitch, at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. Really quick, we got to say thank you to our patrons. Let me bring this up. I can say Kevin for a little bit. Thank you to the squadron, our patrons, especially our squadron commanders.
This way.
That way. Oh man, I didn't update that. I'm sorry. Sorry for this. I'll update this later. I updated. I didn't bring it into Streamlabs. Shoot, but Ferris Mathana, Tamara Butter, and Alec Miller for our squadron. Captain as well. I can't remember your names. I'm so sorry. I'll put everything in the description to make up for you guys. I'm so sorry. I forgot to do that. My bad. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But thank you to that. If you want to become a member of the squadron, join our Patreon at patreon.com/Andrew and Nikki to become a member of the squadron. And thank you again to Kevin Smets. I want to get you on Beyond the Schmodown at some point when all this is.
When things have died down.
When things have died down. When
Good luck, man, in your training.
Yes, I hope.
I'm pulling for you because you're a good dude. So
thank you. Thank you. So So thank you again for Kevin for joining us, and we'll see you next week when we have John Roca on the stream. So may the force be with you always.